going on, guys? My name's Corey. I'm gonna be showing you how to work your way around the Tommy Camper Vans Maddox, and this one we call Lulu. All right, let's do this. So first we're gonna go to the back here. Everything's designed to be very easy to use. So back here, there's really not a whole lot going on, to be honest. We have an outdoor shower. We have the water fill station. We have some chairs, camping table, it's the other chair. We have our water hose and our power cord. And we have some jumper cables just in case. And that's pretty much it for back here. All this stuff you don't need to mess with. The controls for all the power related items and the water pump are actually out in the driver cab, or I'm sorry, in the living area. So if you did need to plug in, you would take this cord, you'd come over here and you'd plug it in right here. It's just a normal 120 volt outlet. Okay, so you would just want to make sure obviously that your power source or the outlet that you're plugging into is turned on. A lot of RV campsites, the breaker might be turned off, so if it's not working, you always want to check for that. And then it also charges while you have the engine running. So it's kind of like your backup generator. If you're running low on power, you can just turn the engine on, let that run for a while, and you'll be good to go. In order to use the outdoor shower, you're gonna want to make sure that the water pump is on. So let's go inside and check that out real quick. All right, so this is where we have all of our controls for the lighting. So we have dimmable lights right here, so you can see those. And then we also have another one over here, and that's for underneath the bed. So we can leave those on pretty much as long as we like. We're never going to really run into any power issues just from lighting or from the fan. So you can run this thing also pretty much as long as you'd like. There's 4 different settings on there, so you can just, I think it's probably on the first setting right now. Press it again, you'll start to hear it a little louder and stronger, and so forth. You would also want to open this up. While you have that on. I wouldn't do that while you're driving, so always keep that closed. It's just going to be annoying and make a bunch of rattling sounds. Come on back over here. So on this switchboard right here, we are going to have the water pump. So if you press this, you'll now have the ability to use water, the outdoor shower, the indoor shower, and the sink. You hear the pump switch on, little buzzing sound right here as well. Oh, want to make sure that lock is off, and boom. The shower itself does not have a gray water tank. It just goes straight through to the ground. For the sink, however, there is a 5-gallon gray water tank, so you just want to keep an eye on that as you use it to make sure it doesn't overflow. As for the other switches, we have accessory, which that will give you power to these USB outlets. Those are just 12 volt outlets, so you don't need to turn anything else on. Just turn those bad boys on and you can charge all your devices right there. As for the outlets, the real 110 volt outlets, you will want to make sure that you turn the inverter on. That's where the inverter is. So you press that button and then you'll see the little light start blinking. It'll start blinking green after that little beep finishes. Boom, and now it's blinking green. So what that means is the inverter's on. So number 1, you could now go and plug in where I showed you with the power cord. If you wanted to charge the van, you would turn the inverter on and then you would plug in, and then now the batteries would be charging. If you're not gonna be charging, that's fine too. You just want to have the inverter on, and then now you can use these outlets, and you could use the water heater, which is right here. It's on a timer, so that way you don't forget to leave it on, because the water heater obviously uses the most power. So if you do have somewhere where you can plug in to charge, so you can, you know, basically have unlimited hot water, or unlimited power for the hot water heater, I would definitely do that. And that's pretty much it for over here. It's very straightforward. So to recap, to turn these on, to turn the outlets on, to use the hot water heater, you are going to want to make sure that you have the inverter on. When you are not using any of those, you can just turn the hot water heater off, obviously, and then you can turn this off as well. That will not impact your ability to use the lighting or the ceiling fan, okay? Or the water pump. So you'll still be able to turn the water pump on like it is now and use that as normal. So coming on over here, up in these cabinets, we have all of your plates, bowls, an electric kettle. Again, if you wanted to use an electric kettle, there's a cord right there, and you would need to make sure that the inverter is turned on, and then now you have power going to the outlets. You also have another outlet right there. And then we have some cooking oils, some spices and salts and stuff like that up there for your use. And then you have a French press, some other silverware, there's kitchen knives, and some other cookware and stuff like that up here, some paper towels. And then coming on down here, we have a trash can, we have your propane, we have a couple pans for cooking, we got a first aid kit, you have your dish soap, there's a broom to clear the floor up if you have rocks and dirt and stuff inside here, and then we have some cutting boards as well. If you wanted to cook, you are going to need to come down here, you're going to turn this on, you'll see the pressure go up, and then you're going to come up here, you're going to find yourself a lighter, which should be up here somewhere. Possibly not. Must be up here. No. All right. Oh, there we go. That's not it. There it is. All right, so you're gonna have actually a couple lighters up here. Let's see those. Bring those more towards the front. All right, so now that that's on, you got a lighter. You're going to go right here. You're gonna turn it on. Turn the propane on, and boom. Don't leave these next to it, obviously. And then you got yourself propane cooktop. All right, pretty straightforward stuff. I'm gonna place the lighter back there. So the lighter should be up there. I'm gonna turn this off. And once you're done using this, you always wanna go back here and turn the propane off. Now, as soon as you close that, you're gonna see that the pressure is still showing that there's propane running through the line. So you just wanna come right here and clear the line. Just run it. It'll smell for a second, but then once the line is clear, you're good to go. You want to do that so you don't have any leaks in the middle of the night. You know, it would only be a small amount of propane from the line that would be leaking, but better be safe than sorry, and you don't want to scare yourself waking up with some sort of smell like that. As for tables and seating, so you have a seat right here, you have a pull-out table right here. You have your driver's seat, which does not swivel. And then you have the passenger seat, which does swivel. So if you go down here, you're gonna see this red lever. You're gonna pull that. And now if it's hitting the back of the seat, I'm sorry, if it's hitting the wall, if the back of the seat is hitting the wall, you're just gonna pull this, you're gonna pull it forward, and then it might click back into place for a second. It's hard to do with one hand. And you're gonna twist it all the way, and then now you have a seat that swivels, so you can open that space up a bit. You can push this back, and then you also have a table right here that's on a lagoon mount. So sorry, this is all pretty difficult to do with one hand. You would pull that out, align the holes, and then you have some extra counter space for cooking. And you could also adjust the height of this if you want to use it as a table for this seat using these. Okay. All right, we got that. Sorry for the shaky phone. Oh shit. All right, now that that's back in, we'll put all this other stuff back into place. And then down here, last but not least, you have your fridge and freezer combo. This is 12 volt, that runs 100% off of the solar system. So it's a big 330 amp hour lithium battery pack. And you have 300 watts of solar panels up top. So it's always charging. It charges fast enough to definitely carry the load of the fridge, freezer, and the lighting. And to open that up, you're gonna go down here. There's a little lever right here, if you can hear that. You're gonna pull that. You're gonna open that up. You're gonna have this side as your fridge, this side as your freezer. Simple as that. And then close that, pop it back into place. And as for a couple driving tips, I always recommend, first things first, coming over here and adjusting your top left, bottom left, top right, bottom right mirrors. Adjust all of those mirrors using this little knob right here. So turn the van on. You are going to have Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay accessibility. So you can connect your phone, do all of that stuff right here. The AC and heating up front is a little bit funky in the ProMaster, but you would just, the colder you want it, you press down on blue. The warmer you want it, you go all the way up to the red side, and you'll see those bars starting to fill. So now the heater would be on. You go back to AC, and then you could adjust the fan speed with that. Let's turn that off for now. Getting kind of chilly out. And then over here we have cruise control, and you got your fuel on the left. To be honest, that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to it. It has all the modern features that you need, and technological features that you can need. But super easy to drive. You just want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to slow down. You take turns very slowly. You take big wide turns. It's much longer than a normal vehicle, so you don't want to hit curbs. You don't want to hit poles, next to on curbs, taking those right-hand turns. So take big, long, wide turns. Give yourself plenty of time to slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to change lanes. And most of all, stay away from drive-throughs and parking structures. As a general rule of thumb, you do that, you'll never have to worry about the height limit. If you're asking yourself what the height limit is, you're asking the wrong question. Just stay away from those, and you'll be good. And lastly, you always want to watch the back rear wheel well when you're coming in to gas station pumps. So gas stations have those pumps they have those gas station pumps have those poles next to them that protect them. It happens frequently enough to us, to renters, I should say, when they're not paying attention. They've been driving for a long time, they get tired, and they pull in a little too, they don't make a wide enough turn pulling into a pump, and they end up hitting those poles at the gas station pumps, and it is extremely costly. You don't want to do that. It might not look like a big dent, but it costs a ridiculous amount of money for the shops to fix it. After the deductible, of course, insurance covers it, but it ends up being out for a lot of time, and it really sucks for us. So please watch out for those poles at gas station pumps. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and then give yourself plenty of space between yourself and big rigs. Protect the windshield. This one's brand new, so protect the windshield at all costs. Give yourself plenty of space between you and the big trucks and cars in front of you, and everything will be a-okay. If you have any questions, you can always text us, give us a call. If I'm awake, me or Alexandra will get back to you. Got your back. So that's it. Have a good trip, and let us know if you need anything at all. We're always here to help. All right, peace.